The second one is homeless housing. And this is something that I even have had various epiphanies about, because like I'm new to Atlanta, Georgia, and I love the state, love being down here, but you see a lot of homeless people. And you see a lot of homeless people who are pushing a cart where everything they own is in that cart. And these people, they have a very similar look, lost. Like, they don't know where they belong, they don't know where they fit in, they don't know what's going on. They're just trying to stay alive because they don't want to die, but they don't really know what to do to make their life better. So just existing is enough to them. And I think the Pope was trying to talk about how he said specifically, you can find no moral or social reason for people to be homeless. Jesus, he said, Jesus himself started out his life as homeless. He was born in a barn, if you believe what the Bible says wholeheartedly. He was born around cows, sheep, and pigs. Like, that's where he was born. So to then shun homeless people, and I think Jesus spent most of his life homeless. He wandered the majority of the time he was alive. Like, I think the only times he actually lived in a home was when he was younger, and some of his earlier miracles turning water to wine. That was like one of his family's events. After that, once he hit the age of puberty and really flipped over the tables in the temple, he went on about his way, spreading his message and living a moving homeless type lifestyle. And I think that's why the Pope is like, this is someone that we idolize in our religion. Why are we then allowing for there to be homeless people in this world? Why are we not being merciful enough and being more Christ-like and finding a place for these people? I'm not saying necessarily I gotta take them into your home, but at least giving them a home of some sort and giving them some semblance of a lifestyle, some semblance of just living at all. You know, I'm missing the words, but I think
maybe they're just trying to be Christ-like.
Maybe they are just trying to be Christ-like and living that nomadic lifestyle. But still, even when Christ was roaming, people brought him into their home, let him sleep, let him eat their food because they knew who he was. These homeless people don't have that same kind of voice, but they're still being shunned. So we'll start with you, Brandon, since you're making Christ-like jokes. Well, do you think there is a homeless problem in this country, and do you think we should do anything about it?
Well, yes, on both. There is a homeless problem in this country. I don't see it a lot here in Lexington, but I do work with a guy who is homeless. So he's trying to get back on his feet. He's working hard. He had a spot, but no, I don't think anybody should be homeless. And I hate to say it like this, not in my house. Just because you don't know anybody anymore. Yes, they let Christ in because they knew Christ.
Exactly.
But they might not have let in Peter or Paul if those two just randomly showed up at the time, So, yes, we need to take care of the homeless problem, and I think it's a very, I don't want to say easy thing to solve, but it is definitely solvable. We have how many empty, abandoned houses, apartments, things like that we could, I'm not saying we put in, chandeliers or nothing, but give them a floor, give them a roof, give them 4 walls. That's, give them somewhere that they're safe, that they can sleep, that they stay warm and don't freeze to death and I don't know how they freeze to death. They got on 30 layers of jackets, but, they're still people. At the end of the day, everybody is still a person, and they should be treated as such.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, now we'll go over to you. Actually, we'll
go, Chris.
What do you think? Why go to me?
I'm gonna go with Jaysin. Aaron was talking.
I'm the moderator.
I thought I saw something like you had something like you really wanted to say. That's why I said.
I've always got something to say.
No, all right, we're gonna go to Jaysin because I'm moderating this topic. Jaysin, you're next on the list.
Okay. Ask me the question again.
No, pay attention. All right. Do you think we should do something about homeless people in this country? And do you think homelessness is a problem? And I'm going to even go as far as, if you believe that homelessness is a problem and we should do something, what should we do to solve it? Or at least try.
Okay. So obviously we have a huge homelessness problem in this country. What can we do about it? I don't know. I know there's a lot we could do though, a lot more than we're doing now. I know we have places where they can go, but then when those places fill up, then they just gotta sleep outside on a park bench, and that's not cool. We definitely need to do something. We need to do something to where, not only do we give them somewhere to sleep, eat, but they also get chances and opportunities to rise up out of that situation and start making a better life for themselves. So maybe they can start adding other things back to this country.
And to you, Chris?
I think that this whole thing about the homeless is very childish from the Pope to throw that out there, like, oh, we have a real homeless problem. Yeah, we do, and not just in this country. But I'm not one to look at a problem and say, well, how do we solve this problem, and then wait for the next one to come around so I solve that problem? How about, what do we do to prevent the problems from happening in the first place? Just like not all obese people are obese because they have a condition. Not all pregnant women are pregnant because of rape. Not all homeless people are homeless because something happened outside their control. While it does exist, and there are a lot of people who they get out of school and they can't find work, they get stricken by some kind of illness, and they have medical bills on top of their student loans, and they are just getting screwed harder and harder, and they're homeless. Those people exist. But there are a lot of people, especially in our generation, who are entitled in their minds. When I was growing up, I was raised on the idea that life is hard.
Yeah.
Like, you are owed nothing. This world doesn't owe you a thing. Why am I owed housing? Why am I owed an education? I'm not.
I believe that you are owed certain things in this life. You are owed certain rights. And one of those being survival.
It is up to you to survive. The government does not step in and say, okay, so now it's 3 o'clock, it's time for you to eat. You have certain constitutional rights, but your right to survive sits on you. Like, it's not my responsibility whether or not Aaron pays his bills. It's not my responsibility whether he goes to school on time. It's not. I'm in charge of myself.
But according to Christ, aren't you your brother's keeper?
On that incredibly out of context quote, okay.
Yeah.
When, in that passage, when he was put on the spot about, am I my brother's keeper? He was guilty of doing something wrong. And then he tried to put it off as like, well, is it my responsibility? Because the guy asking the question knew full well that he acknowledged the situation and the guy was passing it off. Being your brother's keeper does not mean that I'm in charge of everyone else around me. I'm in charge of me. In this country that is not a Christian nation, as we're saying, it's not supposed to be dictated by any one type of religion, I'm in charge of myself. There are people who get addicted to drugs. We have a huge drug problem in this country.
Mm-hmm.
People will prioritize drugs over their own, like over work, over their own family, even over their own health. They even hurt themselves to get the high. Like, you have people who miss the mark. People are very selfish by nature, and again, it's the entitlement thing. Like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. We were talking about people who want to raise the minimum wage. Like, well, I should be able to get paid more because I work here and I can't afford. If you can't afford, dude, go get a better job. Like, make something of yourself. Get something going. Well, no, like I don't want to do that. I shouldn't have to. Okay, so now you're too good for that. What ends up happening is, because they decided to not put their survival up above their pride, now they're homeless. And we have homeless people for many different reasons. But to come in and say, well, we need to fix the homeless, what about the people who earned being homeless? You don't hear about those people. Instead of focusing on maybe what can we do to make sure that people are more accountable, like we were talking about earlier, and being more on your game about the way that you conduct your life, I get that there are people who have situations, they have diseases, they have, something happens, and they are not able to take care of themselves anymore, and then they get put in that position. That sucks. And it would be nice to have a relief program for them, I agree. But this one-size-fits-all solution of all the homeless need to be helped, some of those people won't even help themselves.